You know, guys, like I said in my overview that I just did, review so far of the Samsung 32-inch QLED 4K television that I have, and as I said before in my follow-up to the package opening yesterday, basically the selling point when it came to these 4K televisions is the picture quality and how fluid everything just flows and how it feels like you're right then and there when they're shooting the shot with the camera, and how it feels like it's happening in real time. I'm live, and the only thing that's missing is the word live above on the above screen, on the above part of the screen or the bottom part of the screen. But I wanted to come on here and kind of give you some recommendations. And I know some of you might say, well, Brian, I already know what these look like in 4K since I've already seen it before, and I get where you're coming from because I've seen it myself. And that's great, but this is recommendations for those that have yet to probably see these in 4K, and are probably considering getting a 4K for the future, especially with the holidays coming up. So with that said, let me show you, if not talk about some movies and shows that from an animation perspective, and maybe even live action, kind of give you that vibration of popness and real time and live and fluidness when it comes to 4K presentation with a 3840 by 2160, 4320 by 2160, or 4320 by what is it, 4032 or something, or something 3240. I don't know, something that's a little higher up than 2160. But 2160 is always the recommended one. But these are just examples. So the first example or recommendation I want to give you guys is, of course, a movie my family has said I've watched 1,000 times, and that is Transformers the movie. And whether you have the physical copy like I have, this is one of my physical copies, or if you have the digital copy, which you can get through like Vudu and Amazon and other places now. If you have that if you have either copy, I should say, my recommendation, and I'm sure people will tell me they've already done this, but my recommendation to those that haven't done it is to watch it on 4K when you get an opportunity. Because I could tell you, what people will say to you about, if they've already told you about the viewing experience of the movie on 4K, what they tell you, you'll have to see for yourself. I mean, the selling point, again, a lot of companies make is how vibrant and fluid and almost real life, real time, live wise kind of deal that the picture looks like, especially with the panning shots and everything. I mean, there's various examples throughout. The attack on Autobot City, the escape from Autobot City, Quintessa, the crash landing on Junkion. These are just prime examples of having that fluid animation to it, where it feels like you're right there as it's happening. It's like it's happening live right there. That's how fluid the picture looks. So yeah, Transformers the movie is one example, in my opinion, that does that. And whether it's a digital version you're watching or a Blu-ray version, it's one of those films that does that, and I highly recommend checking it out when it comes to the 4K experience. Another one that I recommend, again, is something I grew up on, and that is G.I. Joe the movie. And this definitely right off the bat gives you an example of that fluid, scanness, panning, camera panning, if you will, making you feel like you're right there, as it's happening live, like it's giving you that live experience. And this movie here is just one of those examples of that happening. It's just one of those examples of that happening, because the opening shot at Cobra headquarters, good shot there. You got shots, during the battle, the first battle of the movie, even before that. It looks really good. The fluidness and the picture and everything just pops out. And again, when they're doing the panning across the across the screen, that's the word I'm looking for, across the screen, basically it looks really good. And again, it feels like it's happening in real time. So I would definitely recommend G.I. Joe the movie to do that. Sorry for the bit of the pause there. I was trying to think about what I was going to say next. And hold on while I check something real quickly. Sorry for the brightness that may come on. Okay, just checking something. Usually with 4K recording, you have nearly 9 minutes, but it's 8 minutes, 52 seconds. But anyway, I recommend that one. Another one I recommend, whether it's watching it through the Stars On Demand app or if I can get it without causing trouble here. Or you're watching it through the physical copy that you have. Another example is Sonic the Hedgehog SAT-AM, especially if you watch the intro for SAT-AM and you see the Robotnik Destroyer coming across the screen, or you see Sonic going into Mobotropolis, or you see that big giant rope, you see a panning shot before you see a big giant robot fox, and then you see the characters right there, and then you see Sally behind one thing while Sonic's right there with her before he goes off and distracts SWAT bots to give Sally time to set the bomb or detonate or whatever. That intro is an example of what I'm talking about, of the fluid, scanness, if you will, the camera shot, the panning, if you will, because it feels like it's happening in real time. It feels like it's, happening live. And again, the only thing that you're missing is that the word live on the upper part of the screen or the bottom part of the screen. That's how well it looks. It really looks really good. And, I can't say any more than that. So I recommend Sonic the Hedgehog SAT-AM, either the Stars on Demand version, whether it's a streaming version, or even the physical version like what I have right there. It's worth watching in 4K. Another one is Hey There, It's Yogi Bear. The opening shot, with showing the trees and everything as you're going towards Boo Boo's cave, and then even as you're watching the characters walk around, or you're with Ranger Smith in his office talking to the chief, saying that they just opened up, they found a kid on Teetering Rock, and you see the cars. These are all prime examples of how well the smoothness and the fluidness and the real-time effect that 4K gives off when it comes to the panning shots or any kind of shots that they give off with the technology they have in there. It looks really good, and I highly recommend a movie like that as well. And of course, you got to get some of the MCUs in there, like Avengers, no doubt, Infinity War. Definitely check that out as well. But again, these are just prime examples. Another prime example is My Little Pony the movie. Just to show you that real quickly. This one, of course, the 2017 one. I highly recommend that one as well because, the intro. I mean, when they show the title, Idol, you get that little spark, that little Twilight spark, if you will, that help show you the title that comes, that comes around the same time, or shows up before the title for the movie is shown. That right there is a good example of the fluidness, and then you get the opening shot and everything. It's just, I can't say any more than what I'm saying right now. So again, these are just examples and recommendations of movies and shows that I think you should see in 4K and experience in 4K because of that, because what they hype it up to be, that picture quality, that fluidness, that real time like pan scan, if you will, of a scene. It just looks really good, and it pops out like it's in 3D, even though these are not 3D televisions. So I highly recommend. So I highly recommend these titles, along with several others out there that you could check out. But these are just some that I recommend you look into in the future. So that's all I'm going to say, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Do any of you have recommendations for movies and shows anybody should watch or I should watch in 4K for the first time to get that quality that I talked about? Let me know down below, and I will talk to y'all later. Have a good day. I'm out.